What's up everyone, Mr. MW2 Gamer giving you guys another Modern Warfare 2 gameplay commentary. We're playing Team Deathmatch on Quarry. We got the FAMAS with grenade launcher, of course, and I got the Thumper as my secondary because I'm a little bitch. So this is actually a really good gameplay. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. There's a lot of noob tubing, but if you've been subscribed to this channel for a while, that's something that you just come to expect. I mean, it's literally in my gamer tag. But in today's video, we're going to talk about Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. More specifically, Modern Warfare 2 Multiplayer Remastered. Because they remastered MW2, but just did the campaign for whatever reason. And let's be real, it's probably because they don't want people playing MW2's multiplayer. They want everyone to play the new 2019 Modern Warfare, which, ugh. That game is just awful. You couldn't pay me to play that game. It's so boring, the maps are shit, and it's just not a good time. I don't care how many old maps they remake into Modern Warfare 2019, I'm not gonna play that game because the game just sucks. And it's not just the maps, it's also the heavy skill-based matchmaking which makes every game sweaty as hell. Like, I remember a time when you play a multiplayer game, you could choose between having a player match, like a regular casual game, or go into ranked. But now when you're playing Modern Warfare, every match feels like a ranked match. Like, I don't give a fuck about all this esports shit, but when I'm playing a game, it feels like I'm in an esports match. Everyone's sliding with their MP5, being sweaty as hell, like, oh man, that's just not fun. So if they decide to remaster multiplayer, I hope to God that they do not add skill-based matchmaking. It doesn't work, especially Modern Warfare 2. Everyone's shooting noob tubes and it's just so unbalanced and it's ridiculous. How can you be competitive? How can you have skill-based matchmaking in a game like Modern Warfare 2? I just don't think it would even work, even if they wanted to do that. Maybe that's part of the reason why they didn't include multiplayer in the first place, because all the bullshit that they put in the new Call of Duty games, they really want to put that in MW2, but they can't. You can't have skill-based matchmaking in Modern Warfare 2, because it's not a skill-based game, and it never could be. When everyone's shooting noob tubes with danger close, how the hell can you have skill-based matchmaking? It just wouldn't make any sense. So please, if you remaster MW2 multiplayer, do not include any skill-based matchmaking whatsoever, because not only is it annoying because every match is sweaty, but it also makes you wait so much longer to find a game because they don't prioritize connection, they prioritize skill and KD and all that stuff. Like, they want to group people with the similar skill level instead of grouping people up together based on connection. And if they do remaster MW2, that would be one of the good changes, is to finally have dedicated servers so the matchmaking is so much better, because you play MW2 right now, it takes so long waiting in a lobby, and the matchmaking has always been broken since the game came out because it's peer-to-peer. But even if they bring dedicated servers into MW2 Remastered, if they have skill-based matchmaking, it just doesn't mean anything because the matchmaking is going to be just as shitty as the original game, probably even worse. But maybe they were thinking about putting skill-based matchmaking and also making various changes to the balancing to try to make it work, like take out one-man army noob tubes, remove danger close, or give it a nerf or something. And the thing is, there are a lot of people that actually want to see these types of changes. If they remaster MW2's multiplayer, there are a lot of people in the community that would love it if they nerf noob tubes or even get rid of them altogether. Remove one-man army, remove danger close, and get rid of all these things that made MW2 so unbalanced, and yeah, it was kind of broken. But that doesn't mean they should try to fix the game and change the game 11 years after the fact, or whenever this multiplayer remaster ever comes out. I think that would be a really bad idea, because I think part of the reason why people want to see MW2 again, why so many people want the game to get remastered, is because they want to replay the original MW2 experience, which was nothing like any other Call of Duty game that ever came out. And if you make changes to it, it's not MW2 anymore, it's something else that's trying to be MW2. So if they ever do remaster the multiplayer, I hope they make zero changes to balancing and anything like that, because they didn't do it with MWR with COD 4 Remastered, and they shouldn't do it with Modern Warfare 2 Remastered, because it's a remaster. And if you want to make all these changes that make it so different from what the original game was, you might as well make a new game. But I get it. A lot of people don't like a lot of the balancing things that were wrong with MW2, and they would love to see the game get fixed. After all, Infinity Ward had a plan to make certain patches that would get rid of one-man army and do certain things to make the game a little bit more palatable for a lot of people. But that patch in summer 2010 ended up never happening because of what was going on in Infinity Ward at the time, where Vince Zampella and Jason West were fired by Activision. Half the Infinity Ward staff left in protest. So you pretty much had a skeleton crew running Infinity Ward, and they had to make MW3 because that was the next Call of Duty. So they had every intention of patching MW2, getting rid of one-man army, maybe nerfing danger close a little bit, but it never happened. And there's no point in trying to do that 10 years later after the game has already been the way it was for all this time. It's just, it wouldn't be right. And I definitely won't be buying. If they make any balancing changes whatsoever, I'm out. I'm not going to play MW2 Remastered. I'll just play the original MW2 for as long as I can. But I understand that's a very divisive issue in the Call of Duty community. There are a lot of people that don't want any changes like me, but there are also people out there that want to see some gameplay changes to MW2 because, yeah, it was really broken. I'm not going to deny that. So just to make sure everyone's happy, there's one thing they could do. They could divide the players into 2 separate playlists so they have the original game mode in its entirety, no changes, no patches, nothing. But then there's another playlist that has changes, that has certain patches. Maybe there's no one-man army. Maybe Danger Close got nerfed a little bit. And the people who want to see the game change, they can play on that playlist. And I guess in that way, everyone's happy. Now, when I mean playlist, I don't mean mosh pit. There shouldn't be like a throwback mosh pit like you have in COD World War II, where it's just different game modes meshed together and that's all you get. No. If you want to play the original MW2, you should have access to every single game mode. So you can choose Team Deathmatch, but also which MW2 you want to play. Do you want to play the new changed MW2 or do you want to play the original one? And I think that's the only way they could do it to make sure everybody is happy. Because I'll tell you guys right now, if they patch the game without allowing you the option of playing the game without any patches, then I'm not going to play the game. I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to support it. I'm just going to pretend it doesn't exist. Because with all the patches at that point, it's a completely different game. And not MW2. At least not the MW2 that we all grew up and loved. So those are definitely the 2 big things for me. No skill-based matchmaking and no patches, no changes to the core gameplay experience, because if they do any of those 2 things, then I'm just not going to bother with it. I'm not going to play MW2 Remastered if it has skill-based matchmaking or if they make any patches, if they make any changes to the original game, because that would just ruin it for me and it wouldn't be worth playing. Other than that, I'm trying to think of things I didn't like about MWR that I wouldn't want to see in MW2 besides skill-based matchmaking, because I think MWR had a little bit of that. Oh yeah, supply drop weapons. I don't want that shit, but I'm sure they're going to do something. They're going to have some type of bullshit monetization, let's be real. And I can tolerate that as long as they're not too obnoxious about it and as long as it's not like some pay-to-win situation. It does seem like Activision is moving away from that type of monetization. They're doing more like a battle pass system. I really don't even want to see battle passes in MW2. But for a remaster, I don't even think they're going to be bothered with that. But there's going to be some type of microtransaction. There's going to be some type of cosmetic stuff that they're going to add in at the very least. And they might also add a couple of weapons behind supply drops or something. I don't know. But like I said, if they do something like that, I hope it's not too unfair. Like a Black Ops 3 or Black Ops 4 situation where most of the good weapons were locked behind supply drops and it gave a really unfair advantage. It really pretty much was kind of like a pay to win, even though like a lot of the base weapons in Black Ops 3 were really good, but most of the really good weapons were behind supply drops in Black Ops 4. So hopefully it's not that bad if they remaster MW2's multiplayer. But if we're talking about things from MWR that I didn't like, how about the variety map pack? Yeah, the DLC from Call of Duty 4 was not included in the remaster. Instead, it was sold separately as DLC. Like, I never heard of a remaster that sells the DLC separately. Usually, if you get a remastered game, everything's included. But not with Modern Warfare Remastered. If you wanted the variety map pack, you had to pay $15, which is even worse because the original map pack was only $10. But it was just ridiculous that you had to actually pay extra money to begin with. No, it should have been included. If they do remaster MW2's multiplayer, they better include all the DLC maps for free. Hey, it doesn't have to be day one. Maybe they could add in a later patch, but if they try to sell the DLC to you separately, then that's bullshit. They better include the DLC for free because there were a lot of shitty DLC maps like Fuel, if anyone remembers that map. But there were also a couple maps they brought back from COD 4 like Overgrown, Crash. They actually played really well in Modern Warfare 2. They actually played better than they did in COD 4. And there were also a couple of new maps like Trailer Park and Carnival that played really well, and I'd love to play on those maps again. DLC lobbies are really hard to come by these days in MW2, so it'd be nice if the game got remastered and included all those maps. So first of all, more people would be able to play them. People who played MW2 back then but didn't buy the DLC, well, now it's included, so people have more access to those maps, and it also keeps the game a little bit more fresh. If it has less maps, you know, it can get old really fast. So I really do hope they bring back all the maps, including DLC. But other than that, that's all I really want from MW2 Remastered. Include all the DLC, no skill-based matchmaking, no patches, just the original MW2 experience with better visuals. I would also really like to see crossplay just so the player base is a little bit more populated, and of course I can play with my friends that are on PlayStation. You know, that would be really cool because I have a lot of friends that play Call of Duty on PlayStation, but I can't play with them. Unless we're talking about Modern Warfare, which I don't play anyway. Oh, and Spec Ops, yeah. Remaster that shit too, because Spec Ops was awesome. And to be truthful, I'm not that crazy about remasters to begin with. I think the original game is fine. And it's not like MW2 is hacked to shit, so it's very much still playable, but if they do remaster, those are things that I want. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye.